Yeah, let's do this. How's it going, beautiful people of Instagram? How's it going, my Insta friends? This is Jose Trujillo, world's greatest living artist. I'm going to be doing an abstract painting. I'm going to show you one of my abstract paintings. A landscape, an abstract landscape. And I'm going to do a 16 by 20 inches canvas, stretch canvas. I know some of you guys have asked me, dude, when are you gonna do? Let me put this together a little better. When are you gonna do a larger canvas? Well, this is it, guys. This is a little larger, okay? And then I'm gonna share with you guys some big canvases, so 4 feet, whatever, 5 feet canvases, and I'm gonna show you how I like to do some of my work there. I'm gonna start by drawing it with a number. What is this? A number 3 brush? Number 2? No, number 4 brush, actually. It's not by drawing, okay? This is a round brush. You can do it with whatever, guys. It doesn't matter. When you're doing your artwork, just kind of sharing the little process here. I'm not a teacher, again. I'm not like suggesting, oh, look, do it just like me. Of course not. I'm not a teacher, but I have some experience doing this stuff. I love what I do. I'm excited about it. I'm excited about sharing my work. I show up every day sharing the artwork and my process in the hopes that maybe I am touching one or two and saying, man, you know what? I was watching this cat and he ignited something in me. And now thanks because I watched that, I'm able to pick up my paintbrush again. Or I'm able to, I don't know. I learned a trick or two that I didn't know. I don't know. So I'm going to be doing one of those, it's based on the California tradition of the rolling hills. This is a very old tradition in California. Painters used to go and see, painters learned their stuff from they got all excited, right? In the early 20s, 30s, they got excited about Monet, Renoir, Cézanne, and especially Monet. I think Monet had a big influence. That pointillist work had a lot of, it's not pointillist like Seurat. It was pointillist more like feathered, right? Monet, right? Kind of plush type of work. Very overworked, very wet on wet and wet on dry. Very beautiful work, of course, as we all know. And this tradition, I like to follow it as much as, the next person. And I also like the tradition that came from that, from a modernist perspective. Look, we like what Monet was doing. We like this California Impressionist type of work, what all these other guys were doing after that here in the States. And but we want to put some pop. We want to put some color. We want to simplify things. And I think that this was more born out of Matisse's. Trying to make a breed between a Monet and a Matisse, if you could. And I don't know if people nailed it or not. I can't say. I just know that I like doing that as well. I like going after that. Very simple work. Very expressionist. I mean, that modern type of stuff was really very expressionist. So this is a rendition of that. And I start with black to make it not so, not so pastel-y, right? So that I can have some dark, strong lines. Even if I want to put some light color in here, I have these very strong lines already defined, right? And this is how I start the drawing. Okay, a little bit. Not so fast, because I know some people want to see sort of the process of it too. Maybe when I paint fast, some people can't really see the process of what I'm going through here. So I don't know. I just know I love doing this thing, man. It's just just such a cool thing. There's a few artists that I admire that continue to do this kind of stuff too, but especially in the in more like in the 70s. They did a lot of that stuff. You know, what a lot of us consider now, well, not necessarily just 70s, also I think 60s they were doing stuff like this. And big canvases, you know, those big mural-sized canvases. Ooh la la! All right. So here we go. I'm going to get a bigger brush now, and I'm going to just start applying some paint. Different ways, right? Different ways. See, now I can go in with, and I don't want to do it all with pastel colors or super bright. Maybe pastel, yes, but not super bright colors. Because I like it, but sometimes I want to change it up a little bit. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say, I guess. Maybe some chocolate in there. You know? This is gray. I put a little bit of purple and a little bit of red. Okay? And then let's put a little bit of green and a little bit of black. Okay? Because I do what I want around town. Pretty much like that. You can always make it lighter and play around with it as you're doing your thing. I mean, and this type of painting, I mean, it goes well with just about everything, you know. I mean, seascapes, whatever. I really like what these painters, the modern painters, the expressionists, abstract expressionists, modernists, were doing. They were, and what I like today, we're all painting with small paintings, right? Because it's like, I don't know, maybe because we ship online, or it's the trend, or you know, or maybe I have no idea. We just do it because maybe we have no storage, or whatever the reason was. How's it going, little Jairo? But they used to paint, you know, these artists. I mean, some artists, some hipster artists, are still painting big, just not probably not selling enough, but still committed to the big paintings. And I know because I was one of them. So I like painting big too. I mean, these paintings, you know, this is what I'm trying to say. These paintings look breathtaking to me, right? I don't know, maybe other people don't like them, but they look breathtaking when they're these huge art pieces. They're so powerful. They're so powerful because they're very raw. I mean, look what I'm doing. I'm essentially blocking. You know, this is for classical painters. This is almost like a no-no. This is it's not a no-no. It's just this is the first step, and for me, this is the first and the last. Right? For a lot of artists, you start with blocking, and then you end up removing some of the block and make it a bit more minimalist, and that is the painting. You end up you start putting a lot of stuff in there, bells and whistles, and you know, especially if you're an abstract expressionist or you're into that, you start putting a lot of bells and whistles, and then you realize, you know, that you want to cut out stuff, and that's where you find your painting many times. When you start removing stuff, it's in the removing of it that you start finding the gold. something good will stick. Yeah. I mean, it's all about finding, I think, when you're doing that type of work, sort of expressionist work. You're finding, you're looking for that, and you won't know what it is till you see it. I think that's why a lot of artists have a hard time with, what do they call it? I don't even know what they call it because I don't have a hard time with that anymore. Being inspired. I think a lot of artists have a hard time being inspired because of that. Because I think, I don't know, part of it, maybe. We come from a school of thinking, modern, a lot of modern artists, or postmodern, I should say, now coming from a school of thinking that it still employs old beliefs like you have to leave the painting there and then come back to it and then find it. And, Koons used to, de Kooning, not Koons, sorry. De Kooning used to talk a lot about that. But the funny thing is that the guy was really fast. So I don't know if he was bullshitting people or if that was happening, but he was just working on multiple pieces at the same time. I think the latter one is probably more true. He was probably working, on multiple pieces. And so he had that luxury. I have a luxury when I'm working on multiple pieces. I'll set him and forget him, I see it on TV. And then I'll revisit them. But if you're working on one piece and then you set it and forget it, then you won't paint again until you come back to it. That's the problem. That's what I'm talking about with the whole idea of finding inspiration. See, if I'm just painting on this and then I set it, then I'll be like, oh, I'll be back to it. But it's the only painting I'm making. Then I'm not really going to be productive. That is, I think, one of the core problems of productivity. But if I'm working on 10 of these little bad boys, then I can sit one aside while I keep working on the other one. Now you have productivity. Now you can have the luxury of being like, I don't know where to go next on this one, right? Well, it's okay, put it aside. Come back to it. But work on another one where you can know where to go next. Okay? I just gave you guys a freaking $1 million pebble right there. I know a lot of artists have a hard time with that. Once I started learning how to do that, because it really comes down to a level of commitment, I have no problem anymore with showing up and creating work. Now, there was other things I shouldn't say that. There was other things I had to work. I had to work on my mind. I had to work on removing junk that was placed there, by me or society or others, whatever. I had to remove that type of junk. The whole, I don't feel like it, that whole thing. I had to remove that too. So I shouldn't say that was it. But that was a great, learning how to do that, learning how to work in multiple things at the same time. It gave me discipline. It showed me, look, dude, even though you don't feel like showing up, then prepare the ground so that you feel like showing up. How about that? How about that? Either way, that's how I do it. Not everybody's into that, I know, but that's me. That's how I do it. That's how I'm able to constantly create works. Look at that. This thing is dope. I like it. Let's put some yellow up here. Because remember, right? It's a bit, it's modernist. I don't know if it's modernist completely, because there's always a butthead out there who's like, it's not modernist, man. Okay, art nerd, it's not modernist. Name it whatever you want. It could be whatever you want. It's painting. It's painting. This is how it goes down here in the studio at this time of the day. I don't know if I need more caffeine or... Hey, thank you so much. Keep Martin artists. Martins. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. That's the cool thing about some of these pieces. They're not so traditional in the sense that the as they're not traditional at all. I think just the outline and the certain little things. But as it goes back, it doesn't necessarily have to be lighter, right? As there's distance, because you're not playing by those rules anymore. You can be a bit Fauvist with it. You can be a bit Fauvist. You can be a bit expressionist, whatever. That's the whole point of them. And you can get very light in the foreground too. The less intensity. One of my favorite artists is a master at doing that. A total master at doing that. He has that personality that I don't know if I could hang around with him, but Wolf Kahn, he's a master at that. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Wolf Kahn's a master at the it makes it like it's atmospheric, but it's there. It's, I don't know. He's just good. He's good, but I think like most artists, it's of his caliber. He's he's got that. I don't know. Maybe he thinks he's the world's greatest living artist, like me too. Who knows? Maybe that's what it is. Here, let's put some. Let me change that. I'm gonna put some blue up there and make it more opaque right here. See, this is a completely different brush stroke too. Now some people are like, man, you're not doing your usual stuff. I don't, because I'm an artist. You're able to switch it. That's how I feel like I grow. I can't grow by doing the same thing. They call that insanity. Just saying, I'm not doing the usual, no, because I don't know. That's just me. I like to. Some days it's all about this. It's very, And I don't record this stuff because I know that some people are like, this is something that I have to grow out of. Like, you have to do things a certain way. This has been on my back for a long time. And I have to grow out of it. Because what if you like photography? What if you're an artist who likes photography? You can't take photos. You can't include those photos in your exhibit. Thank you so much, Semia Artist. Thank you, I appreciate that. Like, what if you like drawing? This is one of the things that I do when I exhibit. When I go around an exhibit and I'm like, oh man, all right, cool, it's time to exhibit something. I used to be very, very vertical, very like, oh no, all the paintings need to have the blue period, the rose period, the water lily series. They all have to, like, for example, if I was in an exhibit, they all have to look like this. And when people say artists are all over the place, I don't believe that. When you're starting out, I think that's what they're talking about. Like, don't be all over the place. When you're starting out, you should be all over the place because you don't know your vision yet. You haven't gotten that thing, so you should be all over the place. Now, when you start figuring that thing out, you'll know what to do next. The trick is not stopping, Because what many do is that we'll start painting, and then this happened to, not necessarily me, because I've always been kind of intense with it, but other friends of mine, artist friends, that they start painting and then they're like, man, maybe this is not for me, things aren't working out. And then they'll stop for like 2 years and then they'll go back to it. And many times they go back to square one. And not because they don't have more experience, that wasn't painting, other experiences in life. Of course, you had other experiences in life as time goes by. But because they didn't continue creating artwork in different ways. Maybe if you went from painting to photography and then you go back, you have a whole other set of tools that you can use. But if you went from painting to, like, I don't know, a desk job, and then you come back, then it's harder to pick up many times. It's harder to be like, well, what do I do next now? Well, you don't know because you didn't keep that momentum going. If you went from painting to sculpting and then you came back to painting, you have a whole other set of tools. You understand other dynamics in 3D, in what is considered a 3D job. You see things differently. I've always thought sculptures see completely different than painters, and if you are blessed to have some of that, if you don't, maybe take some classes of sculpting or whatever, and clay or whatever, and then you go back to painting, you start seeing things differently, and whatever. That's a whole other thing. But going back to my paint whatever, paint whatever. I don't know. It's not. These rules that we came up with, they're only chains. We just don't know that. We don't know that because a lot of us don't know better. A lot of us, and gallery owners, many times they don't know better either. Especially mom and pop galleries, many times don't know better. Many times the reason why they stay open, it's because they hold shows with events, and then it pulls people, it pulls crowds of people, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they understand like selling and whatnot. Many times they don't. Some of them are masters at understanding, like, oh, okay, yeah, this is why we have artists that do this and an artist that does that and whatever, But I know it turned into a little rant, but it doesn't have to be dead serious. It doesn't have to be like I'm only the painter that paints landscapes that are hillsides and I use the same palette, and oh my god, if I go out of this, people are not going to take me serious. No, your Instagram wall may not look uniform, and maybe boo-hoo, you'll lose a person or two, but your art is growing, it's expanding. What if you do some sculpting? What if you do some drawing? I'm not saying to be all over the place, like in that sense. What if you only dedicate maybe 1 or 2 hours a day, on something else, and then you're 6, 7, if you're a full-time artist, 6, 7, 8 hours only on your painting, something else you do photography. I don't know, guys. I'm not into the whole singular thing. I think that's what made a lot of the great artists from the past so great, because they weren't so singular. Like today, man. It's like the first question people ask is what do you do, acrylic or oil? No, dude, I draw too, and I like taking pictures, and I'm an artist. It's so funny because in other industries, it's not like that. It's we've allowed it to happen that way in art, in painting, or plastic arts or whatever, visual arts, plastic arts in Spanish, visual arts. We've allowed that to happen. I don't know why. I don't know who let that in, or why. It doesn't matter. But what does matter is we take control back. We take power back. It's cool if that's your gig, but it shouldn't be forced upon you. You're the guy who paints, blue puppies, blue dogs, and that's your jam. Cool, but it should be a choice. It shouldn't be see, and it's a choice, but I feel like society puts that on artists. You have to have a voice. You have to be singular. You have to have this thing. People, it needs to mean this. Dude, you haven't painted enough to find that. Many times you just started, and you have to get the ball rolling. You have to get the ball rolling. Maybe you add a little bit of this. Maybe you add a little bit of that. Before you know it, you start finding out your voice. I know most serious artists that I know did not find their voice till 30 years into their career. Honest to God. They didn't find their voice till they were 30 years into their career. And this pressure of people putting, they put this pressure on artists. Of course, an artist that doesn't practice their craft, and they've been painting for painting on and off for 50 years and never practiced their craft. Of course, they're not going to have voice. Of course, it's going to be harder. Maybe you're blessed by it and you have that, that thing that people call voice. But most of the artists that I've seen, they show me stuff from when they, the first 10 years in, and you know, it looked like completely different, you know, completely different. And I'm not talking about like portraits and then landscapes and then painting a puppy and then painting a bird. No, I'm not talking about subject matter. I'm talking about the artwork itself. It looked, you know, it looked like not amateur. It was well painted, but it just looked so so different, you know. And it wasn't singular. It didn't have the singular voice. For those who wanted to create one, you know. I don't know. For me, I like Picasso's approach. Not his painting necessarily. You know, like I'm not saying, oh, I want to paint like Picasso. No, I like his approach. I want to paint like me, but I love his approach. His approach was genius. It was, I'm an artist. You know, when I was telling you guys right now, I was going to tell you about in other industries. Let me get back to that. In other industries, it's not like that. You know, in other industries, it's like you don't tell Miley Cyrus, oh yeah, you're the one who only sings happy songs, you know, or or you're the one who sings only melodies. You know, you don't do any dance songs. Oh, they have like breakup songs, dance songs. You know, and then when their career starts hitting really high and they don't know what to do next, they'll invite, like, I don't know, Andrea Bocelli to sing with them. Something, you know, they'll go extremely classical. Who's doing that? I think Lady Gaga's doing that now. You know, when their career goes like way high, they start like, you know, the producers and them, because they're growing as artists. They start coming up with different ways to grow and incorporate things. Anyways, I hope I'm not... I hope I'm making some sense, is what I'm trying to say. To someone out there. Check it out, guys. So this is it. This is me. This is me right now. Me tomorrow might be maybe a realistic portrait. Who knows? This is the way it looks right now, guys. I hope you guys enjoy this. I hope you guys enjoy the rants. If you guys like what you're seeing, please give me some hearts. Show me that you care. Look, I have the hearts right here for that reason. Boom, 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 boom. Give me some hearts. Remember, guys, look, this is what I have over my easel. Take more risks. This is focus, but it has paint on it now. And this says challenge yourself. This is what I believe in. I believe in taking more risks. If you're an artist and you're not taking risks, I don't know. You may find it hard to grow. If you don't focus either, you may find it harder. I mean, in spite of what I just said right now, to try different things, you do have to focus. There has to come a point where you have to focus, right? Even if you're trying different things, you know, allot some time to try different things, but you have to allot some time to focus, like laser beam focus. And when I'm doing these videos, I'm like, you know, having fun and I'm painting and whatnot. But guys, when I'm not doing these videos, this is me. I'm dead set with it. And then I have like half an hour or an hour, depending on the day, where I just take different risks. And I'll do something that I've never done. I'll do some mixed media, or I'll take some photos, and, you know, I'll do some pop. I'll do something different to stretch myself, to learn different techniques and different things. And I'm always challenging myself too. I'm always looking for that edge. You know, where is the edge? I want to get close to it, because I know that in the edge is where I grow. So I'm always challenging myself. So there you guys have it. The name is Jose Trujillo. I am the world's greatest living artist. I just know that. It happened that way. Who knows why the stars aligned that way? But guys, I'm sorry. I am the world's greatest living artist. And just happy to share my process. You know, open the window here. This little phone is a window. We're opening the window to our art studios. That's really what we're doing. So thank you so much. Take care. Till next time. Adios.